Thank you to the sponsor of this video, LEGACYBOX. The year 1927 was about bold firsts, record-setting achievements, and moments that pushed the nation into a new era. With a population of 119 million, America was roaring forward, and each month seemed to bring another headline that would ripple through history. These are the events of 1927. January 7th marked a basketball milestone when the Harlem Globetrotters played their very first game in Hinckley, Illinois. What began as a touring team soon became a global entertainment phenomenon, known for dazzling skill and showmanship. On February 23rd, the United States took a major step in managing the rapid growth of radio communication. The Federal Radio Commission, later renamed the FCC, began regulating radio frequencies, helping shape the future of broadcasting. March 4th saw Babe Ruth sign a 3-year contract with the New York Yankees, worth $70,000 a season. This made him the highest-paid player in baseball history at the time, and his status as the game's larger-than-life superstar was cemented. Just days later, on March 8th, Pan American Airways was incorporated. It was a modest beginning for what would become one of the most iconic and influential names in aviation for the next 60 years. April 19th saw Broadway firebrand Mae West convicted of obscenity for her provocative play, Sex. Because of this, she was sentenced to 10 days in jail and fined $500. After serving her time, she emerged even more famous, and it launched her Hollywood career. Beginning on April 22nd and lasting until May 5th, the Great Mississippi Flood devastated the American South. The flood inundated 16 million acres of land, displacing nearly 640,000 people in states from Illinois all the way down to Louisiana. It was the worst natural disaster in U.S. history at the time, reshaping communities, politics, and federal disaster response. On April 29th, construction was completed on the Spirit of St. Louis, a custom-built monoplane destined to carry a young pilot named Charles Lindbergh into the history books. A defining hotel opened in Hollywood on May 15th. The Roosevelt Hotel, which was backed by stars Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford, and theater mogul Sid Grauman, soon became a glamorous gathering spot during the golden age of film. Just 3 days later, on May 18th, Sid Grauman himself opened the legendary Chinese Theater with a dazzling stage show and the premiere of Cecil B. DeMille's epic The King of Kings. The famous entrance with handprints, footprints, and signatures in cement would soon follow. That same day on May 18th, tragedy struck in Bath Township, Michigan. A disgruntled local official detonated explosives at a school, killing 45 people, most of them children, in one of the deadliest school attacks in U.S. history. On May 20th, at 7:40 a.m., Charles Lindbergh lifted off from New York in the Spirit of St. Louis, beginning the first solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic. 33 hours later, he landed triumphantly in Paris, becoming an international hero and winning the Orteig Prize, something that was worth $25,000. Just days later, on May 25th, Henry Ford announced the end of the Model T. The following day, the 15 millionth and final Model T rolled off the production line, closing a chapter in American automotive history. June 1st welcomed a symbol of international freedom when the Peace Bridge between Buffalo, New York and Fort Erie, Ontario, opened to traffic. 2 months later, it was formally dedicated to commemorate a century of peace between the United States and Canada. On June 26, summer was all about thrills when the Cyclone roller coaster opened at Coney Island. This was one of the most famous wooden roller coasters ever built, and it's still in operation nearly a century later. On July 29th, medical innovation took center stage as the first iron lung was installed at Bellevue Hospital in New York. This electric respirator offered new hope for patients who were suffering from polio. August 2nd delivered political news from the White House when President Calvin Coolidge declared, "I do not choose to run for president" in 1928. Stunning the nation, and this opened the door for Herbert Hoover to run for president. On September 7th, in a small San Francisco lab, Philo Farnsworth demonstrated the first electronic television, a breakthrough that would change entertainment forever. Farnsworth is credited as being the inventor of the TV, but spent much of his career fighting RCA over his patents. September 18th brought another broadcasting milestone with the birth of the Columbia Phonographic Broadcasting System, better known as CBS, which debuted with 47 radio stations, soon becoming one of the big three media giants. On September 30th, Babe Ruth smashed his 60th home run of the season, setting a record that would stand for 34 years. On October 6th, movie history was made as The Jazz Singer premiered. It became the first major film with synchronized dialogue and sound, ushering in the era of talkies and transforming Hollywood forever. October 28th was the date that Pan American Airways made their first scheduled flight, sending a plane from Key West to Havana, Cuba, and expanding America's reach into international air travel. Winter brought innovation when on November 22nd, Carl Ellison received the first patent for a snowmobile, paving the way for new winter travel and sport across snowy landscapes. On December 2nd, the Ford Motor Company formally introduced their newest vehicle, the Model A. This replaced the legendary Model T, and it excited buyers eager for a modern automobile. Tragedy gripped the nation on December 15th, when 12-year-old Marion Parker was kidnapped in Los Angeles. Her murder days later triggered one of the largest manhunts in West Coast history. The killer, William Edward Hickman, was caught on December 22nd. He would be convicted and executed the following year. The year closed with a terrible accident on December 17th, when the U.S. Navy submarine S-4 was surfacing. It was accidentally rammed by the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Paulding off Provincetown, Massachusetts. The collision sank the submarine, and the 40 crew members on board were all lost, despite desperate rescue attempts. Recollection Road loves to recommend LEGACYBOX because we both believe in preserving the past. If you have a cluttered closet with cherished home videos and photos that rarely see the light of day, then you need to visit legacybox.com/recollection. These irreplaceable heirlooms are rapidly fading away, and they deserve to be digitized and shared with family and friends. And right now, LEGACYBOX is offering you $9 tape transfers. The process is simple. Send in your LEGACYBOX filled with old VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, and pictures. Their team will professionally digitize everything by hand, right here in the USA. You'll get the originals returned to you, along with organized digital copies. I love LEGACYBOX because it makes all my favorite memories available anytime. I can post them on social media or pull up a slideshow on my TV, which keeps special family moments alive. Visit legacybox.com/recollection to shop their $9 tape sale. That's legacybox.com/recollection to unlock this incredible offer. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to check the description of this video for links to pick up a t-shirt and sign up for the newsletter. Also, don't forget to visit our friends at Horn and Hardart to save 10% on your next order. Visit hornandhardart.com/recollection. Thank you to our loyal Patreon supporters listed here. Visit patreon.com/recollectionroad to join the club.